Good afternoon. I want to say at the outset that I feel very honored to be a part of this very special Interfaith Memorial Service here today with my colleagues in faith, and to be a representative with them of those who tragically perished that fateful night 100 years ago today. On this 100th anniversary, we come before God to remember and honor the memory of all those who lost their lives, and to remember the families that were impacted by this historic tragedy. And we remember before God the victims who were interred here and elsewhere in the city, as we heard earlier, many of whom were never identified, and remembering the monumental role and response of our city in their recovery and laying them to peaceful rest. But in all of this today, we affirm that God is the God of the past, the present, and the future, and that God is all and in all, and fills all time and all space. But this is a day of remembering, and a day of memories, deep memories for a lot of us. Memories of all who perished in a human tragedy beyond all comprehension. Memories of loved ones who were left behind to deal with their overwhelming grief and their pain, and to try, if possible, to make some sense of something beyond belief, something so unimaginable. And while this day commemorates a tragic event in maritime history that touches the deepest part of our very being, it also reminds us again of the frailty and the shortness and imperfections of human life on this imperfect planet. It tells the stories of shattered dreams, crushed hopes, broken hearts, desperate efforts that were made, but also of acts of sheer heroism, selfless, sacrificial acts of human life in the face of certain death, with no thought at all of self, of giving a life for a life. Acting out Jesus' own words when he said that there was no greater love than to lay down one's life for another. So then this day represents all of that, and yet so much more. And we as Christians all over Christendom have just celebrated the resurrection of Jesus Christ and the victory of life over death. And as Christians, this is the hope of our faith, because it affirms again that in life and in death, and in life beyond death, that God is with us, and we are not alone, ever. This is the ultimate promise of a living God to us, and we affirm that again today. Legend has it that the last song the band played that night was the hymn, "Nearer My God to Thee." Apparently, some survivors reported that the ship's string ensemble played the hymn as the ship went down. Now, whether it's true or not, it's still a beautiful hymn that affirms a desire to be nearer to God in all things. And for us today, as we remember again those who tragically died, the song's words really affirm now for all of us that no matter what happens in our world or in our lives, whether we live or whether we die, in the words of the hymn, still all my song shall be nearer, my God, to thee. And thanks be to God. Amen.